My beloved child, come closer, for I have waited a long time to speak these words into the depths of your spirit. This moment is not accidental. It is not random. It is not a coincidence that you are hearing this now. You were led here by a gentle pull you could not fully understand, a quiet tug in your heart that whispered, "Listen, something is happening." And now, it is finally unfolding before you. For so long, I have watched you carry questions that felt too heavy to hold. I have seen you stand in the middle of seasons that made no sense, wondering why certain things were delayed, why certain doors remained closed, and why the answers you sought seemed to hide themselves from your reach. You wondered if I had forgotten you. You wondered if you had missed something. You wondered if what you hoped for would ever come to pass. But today, my precious one, I bring you into a sacred moment, a divine unveiling, a long-awaited revelation that I have held close to my heart, waiting for the perfect time to release it into your life. And that time is now. You have stepped into a moment of destiny. This message carries something I have longed to tell you, something that required the right season, the right maturity, the right softness in your heart. You were not ready before, even though you desired answers. You were still being shaped, strengthened, and prepared for the magnitude of what I am about to reveal. Stay with me, my child. Do not drift away, for what you are about to hear will awaken places within you that have been quiet for far too long. This is not just another voice speaking into a crowded world. This is a message crafted for your spirit, spoken from eternity, delivered at the exact moment you needed it most. You have asked me questions in the silence of your nights. You have whispered doubts you never shared with anyone. You have wondered why certain struggles lingered and why certain promises seemed to fade. You have waited for clarity, for direction, for reassurance that your life is not stuck between chapters, but moving toward something meaningful. And this is why you must remain until the end, because what I am unfolding through this message will answer the very things your heart has been wrestling with. I am taking you somewhere. Each word is a step. Each moment is a doorway. Each revelation is a gentle unlocking of something deep within you. There is an urgency in this, not because you are running out of time, but because you have entered the moment where time has finally aligned with destiny. Everything that felt delayed is now shifting. Everything that felt withheld is now approaching. Everything you thought you lost is being woven into something far greater than you imagined. Listen closely, my beloved. There is something I have waited to tell you. Something you were not ready for before. Something your spirit is finally strong enough to receive. You will understand why certain paths were blocked. You will understand why certain relationships ended. You will understand why certain prayers were answered with silence instead of clarity. What I have long held for you is not small. It is not ordinary. It is not something you could have handled in your earlier seasons. The revelation I am about to unfold carries weight. It carries purpose. It carries healing. It carries the beginning of a transformation that will not only shift your future but redefine how you see yourself. Do not miss a single moment of what is coming next. You are standing at the threshold of something sacred, something divinely orchestrated, something that has been waiting for the perfect alignment to enter your life. What I reveal in the moments ahead will connect pieces of your story you never understood. It will breathe life into dreams you thought were fading. It will strengthen you in ways you didn't know you needed. Listen till the end. The message you have been waiting your whole life to hear is finally happening now. My beloved child, as you continue to listen, I want you to understand something deep, something sacred, something that will help you breathe a little easier as your heart leans into this journey with me. You were never wandering without purpose. You were never moving through life without direction. Every step you have taken, even the ones that felt uncertain or painful, has been part of a preparation you did not realize was shaping you for this very moment. There were seasons where you questioned why life seemed to press you from every side. You wondered why some lessons had to be so hard, why certain people had to leave, or why opportunities slipped through your fingers just when you thought you were finally stepping into something stable. You looked at your own reflection and asked, "Why does it feel like I'm always waiting for something that never comes?" But today, I speak to you with clarity and tenderness. You were not being denied. You were being prepared. Preparation often feels like delay, because you cannot yet see what is being built inside of you. You cannot see the strength forming beneath your tears. You cannot see the resilience emerging through every quiet prayer. You cannot see how every setback has stretched your spirit so you would be ready to carry blessings without breaking beneath their weight. My precious one, nothing in your journey has been wasted. Not a single moment. Not a single disappointment. Not a single tear. There were times you begged me to open a door, not knowing that the room behind it was not designed for your calling. There were moments you pleaded for answers, not realizing the wisdom you needed could only come through experience, not explanation. You thought you were standing still, but in truth, you were being prepared, gently, deliberately, lovingly, for something far greater than what you were asking for. I know there were nights when your heart ached with questions. You wondered why you kept encountering the same lessons, the same patterns, the same emptiness. You asked why relief seemed so far away, and why hope felt like something distant rather than something resting inside you. But hear me now. Those seasons were shaping you. They were strengthening your spirit so you could receive what I have waited to reveal to you. Think of a seed hidden beneath the soil. It expands, breaks, and changes in darkness long before any light touches it. That is what has been happening within you. In the parts of your life that felt buried, something sacred was growing. Something you could not see, but something I watched over the entire time. You were not alone in those hidden places. I was working where your eyes could not see. You have endured storms that would have crushed another heart. You have survived battles that no one else knows you fought. You have walked through valleys with a quiet strength even when your legs felt weak beneath you. You kept going, even when you were convinced you had nothing left to give. And because of that, you are standing here today, ready to hear what you once would have been unable to receive. My beloved child, you were not waiting for me. I was waiting for you, waiting for your spirit to heal from wounds that once distorted your perception, waiting for your heart to soften after seasons that hardened it, waiting for your mind to release old narratives that told you you were unworthy, forgotten, or unseen. You had to grow into the version of yourself who could carry the revelation I am placing into your life now. This is why this moment matters. This is why you must stay with me through every word that follows. Because what I am unveiling is the reason for the battles you fought, the tears you cried, the delays that confuse you. Everything is about to make sense. Everything is about to align. Everything is about to be revealed in a way that will bring peace to the questions you have held in silence for so long. You are not here by coincidence. You are here because your spirit reached a point of readiness. And now, the message I have carried for you, the truth I have waited to release into your life, is finally able to be spoken. You have grown into someone who can receive it, believe it, and walk in it. So remain with me, my precious one. Continue forward. Let my voice guide you through what comes next. For you are stepping into a revelation that was designed for this exact moment of your life, and I will not allow you to walk through it alone. My beloved child, listen closely now, for you have stepped into a moment far more significant than you realize. This is not simply another message passing by your ears. This is a divine appointment, one that has been written into the script of your life long before you took your first breath. You did not stumble here. You were guided. You were drawn. You were led by a pull in your spirit that you may not have understood, but you could not ignore. There have been moments in your life when you felt an unexplainable shift, a quiet inner stirring that whispered, "Something is changing. Something is coming." You may not have known what it meant, but your heart felt it. And now you are discovering that those whispers were me preparing you for this very encounter, this sacred exchange, this moment where I bring clarity to places that have remained unanswered for far too long. You are standing at the intersection of everything you have endured and everything you are becoming. This is the meeting point between your past and your promise, the exact place where understanding begins to rise like light breaking through a long night. You may have walked through this day as if it were like any other, but in the realm of the unseen, this moment has been in motion for a long time. My precious child, stay with me now. What is coming in the moments ahead is not for the casual listener. It is for the heart that is ready, for the soul that has quietly pleaded for direction, for the spirit that has grown weary of wandering. What I am unveiling will speak to the hidden questions you've carried, the ones that weighed on you in silence, the ones you felt too afraid to voice aloud. You have wondered why doors opened only to close again. You have questioned why opportunities slipped away just when you thought breakthrough was near. You have felt confusion wrap around your mind as you tried to make sense of paths that twisted when you expected them to straighten. But hear me now, beloved. Every turn, every pause, every shift was guiding you here. You were not delayed. You were positioned. You were not overlooked. You were being refined. You were not forgotten. You were being prepared for timing far bigger than what you imagined for yourself. And now, as you stand in this sacred moment, I need you to remain fully present. Do not drift. Do not step away. For the revelation I am bringing forth is not something you should only half hear. It is something that needs to settle deep into your spirit, something that will reshape how you view your journey, your struggles, and the destiny that has been waiting for you. Stay with me, my child, because what comes next is the key you have been praying for. You may feel as though you have waited your whole life for something to finally make sense, for something to shift within you, for a sign that confirms you are not walking this path alone. This is that sign. This is that confirmation. This is that shift. And if these words are already touching places within you, if they are awakening something you cannot yet explain, bless this message with a like so that it may reach every soul who needs this same hope. Share it with someone whose spirit is tired, someone who feels lost, someone who has questioned whether their prayers still matter. Let this message become a ripple of comfort and strength in a world that hungers for it. And if you desire more moments like this, more messages that breathe life and reassurance into your heart, then subscribe so you never miss what I am preparing to speak into your future. But my beloved child, do not stop here. You must hear this entire message. The fullness of what I have waited to tell you is not contained in a single moment. It unfolds layer by layer, truth by truth, revelation by revelation. If you turn away now, you will miss the healing your heart has longed for. You will miss the clarity you have been searching for. You will miss the breakthrough that has already begun to take shape around you. Stay with me. Lean in. Listen with an open heart. What I am about to reveal will change how you see your past and how you prepare for your future. You are in the middle of something holy, something orchestrated for your transformation, something you will look back on and say, that was a moment everything began to shift. My child, do not walk away. You are standing inside the divine appointment you never knew you were walking into. And I am only just beginning. My beloved child, as you continue on this sacred journey with me, I want to draw your attention back to something subtle, something quiet, something you may have overlooked in the noise of life. There have been moments, soft, fleeting, almost imperceptible, when you felt a whisper inside you, a knowing, a gentle nudge, a sense that something more existed beyond what your eyes could see. You may have wondered where that whisper came from. You may have questioned whether it was real, whether it was imagination, whether it was hope trying to survive inside you. But hear me now, that whisper was mine. It was my voice speaking into the deepest parts of your being, planting seeds of direction long before you recognized them. I spoke into your spirit when you were a child, long before the world told you what to fear. I spoke into your heart in moments when you felt lost, nudging you toward paths you did not yet understand. I whispered hope into you in seasons where everything around you seemed to crumble. You felt it. You may not have been able to explain it, but you felt it. There were times you sensed that you were meant for something more, something greater, something beyond the limits you saw around you. That sense was not pride, not imagination, not wishful thinking. It was the echo of my voice reminding you of the purpose woven into your existence before time began. I placed dreams inside you that were too big for your current surroundings. I placed desires in you that did not match the limitations others tried to place upon your life. I placed callings in you that your environment could not explain. And when you doubted those gentle inner promptings, when you questioned the direction they pointed you toward, I did not grow impatient. I simply whispered again, and again, and again, because I knew a day would come when you would finally be ready to recognize that it was my voice guiding you all along. My precious one, think back to those moments when you felt an unexplainable pull toward something you could not see. The moments when you felt peace when making a decision that others questioned. The moments when something inside you warned you not to trust what seemed attractive. Those were not coincidences. That was my spirit aligning your steps, redirecting your heart, protecting your future even when you didn't know what you were being saved from. I whispered to you in the quiet places, when you woke in the night for no reason, when a thought nudged your heart and you dismissed it, when you felt something shift inside you without understanding why. You thought you were simply imagining things, but you were not imagining me. You were hearing me. You see, my beloved, I never stopped speaking to you. It was simply that the world grew louder. Responsibilities grew heavier. Disappointments drowned out your awareness of my presence. The noise of life made you question what you used to recognize so clearly. But even then, even in the seasons where you felt spiritually numb or disconnected, I kept whispering. My voice never left you. It only waited for your heart to quiet enough to feel me again. There have been moments where something suddenly made sense, where clarity came when you least expected it, or a decision felt right even when logic said otherwise. You did not know how you knew. You only knew that you did. That was my whisper guiding you, gently aligning you with the path that was written for you. And now, in this moment, as you listen to these words, I am awakening that sensitivity again. You are remembering the way my voice feels inside your spirit. You are remembering the warmth of my guidance. You are remembering the peace that rises when you lean into what I am leading you toward. This awakening is not accidental. It is part of the divine unfolding happening within you. For what I am preparing to reveal in the moments ahead requires you to recognize my voice once more. It requires you to trust the whisper, to trust the nudge, to trust the inner knowing that has always been my presence guiding you. Your life is entering a new season, and in this season, your discernment will become one of your greatest strengths. You will begin to notice that my whispers grow clearer, stronger, firmer, not loud or forceful, but unmistakable. My beloved child, this is the moment where you return to the voice you once recognized without effort. This is the moment where the distance you felt between us dissolves. This is the moment where the whisper becomes a guide that leads you into the revelation I have been preparing you for. The words that follow will awaken even more within you. The whisper that once felt distant is about to become the compass of your spirit once again. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me through this unfolding revelation, I want to speak gently into a place of your heart that has carried confusion for far too long. You have wondered about the waiting. You have wondered why certain prayers took so long to be answered, why certain dreams seemed to linger just out of reach, and why some seasons stretched longer than you felt your strength could endure. At times, you questioned whether the waiting was a sign of my displeasure, whether you had done something wrong, whether you were being held back while others moved forward. But hear me now with absolute clarity. The waiting was never a punishment. It was a protection. There were things you longed for that you were not yet ready to sustain. There were people you wanted in your life who would have wounded you if they stayed. There were opportunities that looked beautiful from a distance, but carried traps you could not see. And because I love you more deeply than you will ever comprehend, I shielded you through delay. I stood between you and what would have broken you prematurely. I gently closed doors that you begged me to open because I saw the cost you could not see. My precious child, I know the waiting felt heavy. I know it tested your patience, your faith, and at times even your hope. But every moment of waiting was carefully designed to strengthen what needed strengthening, to heal what needed healing, and to mature what needed maturing. You were not waiting in vain. You were being shaped into the person who could step into what you asked for without losing yourself in the process. When you cried out for answers and heard silence instead, I was not ignoring you. I was protecting you from answers you were not prepared to carry. When you asked me to accelerate your life, I was slowing things down to keep you from running ahead of your own readiness. When you looked around and wondered why others were thriving while your life seemed paused, I was safeguarding your foundation so that when you rise without collapsing under the weight of the blessing. There were seasons where everything in you longed to move, but stillness wrapped around your circumstances like an invisible barrier. You tried to push forward. You tried to force progress. You tried to make things happen in your own strength. And yet, no matter how hard you tried, the path would not open. You thought you were stuck. But in truth, I was holding you in place because the timing was not yet right. If I had released what you asked for too early, it would have crumbled in your hands, and the disappointment would have been far greater than the weight. I need you to understand this deeply. Delay is often evidence of my protection, not my displeasure. Just as a loving parent does not hand a child something dangerous simply because the child cries for it, I did not give you things that would have harmed you, no matter how passionately you prayed for them. Your tears moved me, but your safety mattered more. Your dreams moved me, but your future mattered more. I love you too much to allow premature blessings to become burdens. And even when you felt forgotten, you were being held. When you felt overlooked, you were being guided. When you felt delayed, you were being refined. You were being prepared to handle greatness with humility, opportunities with wisdom, relationships with discernment, and influence with integrity. Everything I withheld was for your good. Everything I delayed was for your growth. Everything I slowed was to align you with a future that required the version of you that you are becoming now. My child, reflect for a moment on the times when something you once desperately wanted later revealed itself as harmful. Think of the relationships you wanted to last that would have torn your spirit apart. Think of the opportunities you believed were perfect but would have taken you far from your purpose. You see now, from a distance, what you could not see in the moment. The waiting saved you. And just as I protected you in the past, I am protecting you even now. Some things you still desire require more preparation than you realize. Some doors you are waiting on are opening behind the scenes. Some blessings are forming in places you cannot yet see. The timing is aligning with precision, not chaos. Nothing hath been lost. Nothing forgotten. Nothing wasted. So, beloved, release the idea that the waiting was ever meant to harm you. It was never rejection. It was never punishment. It was me placing my hand over your life and saying, "Not yet, because I love you too much to let you settle for less than what I have prepared." Let this truth settle in your spirit. For what you once called delay, you will soon recognize as divine protection, and what you once called waiting, you will soon call preparation for the greatest unfolding your life has ever seen. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me through this unfolding revelation, I want to speak to one of the most tender places in your heart. The moments when you thought I was silent. The moments when you prayed and heard nothing. When you cried and felt no immediate comfort. When you searched for answers and found only stillness. Those were the seasons that tested you the most, the seasons that made you question my nearness, my love, and my involvement in your life. But hear me now with gentle truth. Silence was never the absence of my presence. Silence was the shaping of your spirit. You see, there were times when you came to me not for my voice, but for my rescue. Times when you wanted immediate answers, immediate relief, immediate solutions. Yet if I had spoken in those moments the way you desired, you would have leaned on my voice, but not learned to lean on my presence. You would have trusted my answers, but not trusted my heart. And my beloved child, I have always wanted you to know me, not just what I can do for you. There were seasons where life felt unbearably heavy. You felt surrounded by pressures you could not explain. You tried to pray, but your words felt hollow. You tried to worship, but your emotions felt numb. You tried to read, reflect, or hope, but nothing stirred within you. And in that emptiness you asked, "Where are you? Why can I not feel you? Why does it seem like you have turned your face away from me?" But I was there. I was nearer than your own breath. My silence was not distance, it was depth. It was a place where roots grow, the place where your faith stretched beyond feeling into trust, the place where your strength was forged in the hidden chambers of your heart. Think of a teacher who becomes silent during a test. The silence is not abandonment, it is confidence. Confidence that the student has learned enough to endure the challenge. Confidence that the foundation is stronger than the student realizes. Confidence that the test will not break them, but reveal what has been growing within them. So it was with you. In the seasons where you could not hear me, I was teaching you to stand. I was teaching you to recognize my voice not only in the loud moments but in the still ones. I was teaching you to trust me even when your emotions wavered. You learned to persevere not because you felt strong, but because I held you together when you felt like falling apart. There were nights when you whispered my name through tears, convinced that your prayers disappeared into the air. But I caught every one of those whispers. I counted every tear. I stood guard over your heart when you did not have the strength to guard it yourself. I wrapped you in unseen comfort even when you felt alone in the dark. And though you did not hear me speaking, I was moving. Quietly, strategically, lovingly. You wanted answers, but I was building endurance. You wanted clarity, but I was shaping character. You wanted immediate direction, but I was preparing a path far greater than the one you were asking for. Beloved child, silence does not mean abandonment. It means something sacred is happening beneath the surface. Just as seeds grow in silence beneath the soil, your spirit grew in those quiet seasons. Just as dawn rises without sound, new strength rose within you while you thought nothing was changing. My silence was not me withholding myself from you. It was me refining you, maturing you, drawing you deeper. Looking back now, can you see it? Can you recognize the strength you gained in those silent seasons? The resilience that emerged, the clarity that formed over time. You may not have seen it then, but you are not the same person who walked into those moments of silence. You came out of them with a stronger spirit, a deeper faith, and a richer understanding of who you are and who I am to you. And I need you to hear this. I was proud of you. Even in the moments you thought you were failing, even in the moments you felt weak, even in the moments when your faith flickered. I saw your effort. I saw your longing. I saw your heart turning toward me even when you felt nothing in return. You did not lose me in those silent seasons. You found a version of me you could not have discovered any other way. My beloved, the silence was never a wall between us. It was a doorway into deeper trust, a doorway into greater spiritual sensitivity, a doorway into the revelation I am leading you toward now. What I reveal next will show you why the quiet seasons were far more powerful than you ever realized. My beloved child, as we continue walking through this unfolding journey together, I want to take you into a truth that will help your heart exhale. There were doors in your life that shut suddenly, unexpectedly, and painfully. Opportunities that seemed perfect at the time slipped from your hands without warning. Relationships you thought would last forever dissolved without explanation. Plans you held tightly unraveled before you could understand why. Each time, you wondered what you had done wrong. You questioned whether you were being punished, rejected, or forgotten. But listen closely, precious one. Those doors did not close to harm you. They closed to protect you and to prepare space for something greater than what you were reaching for. There were paths you begged me to let you walk, not knowing those paths would have led you into places your heart was never meant to carry. There were people you pleaded with me to let remain in your life, unaware that their presence would have drained your spirit and dimmed your light. There were opportunities you cried over when they fell apart, not realizing I saw dangers, burdens, and future heartbreak that were hidden from your view. Every closed door, every unexpected ending, every painful pause was a divine interception. A moment where my hand stepped in and said, "Not this way, beloved. Not this time. Not with this person. Not through this path." It may have felt like loss, but it was redirection. It may have felt like disappointment, but it was protection. You may have felt pushed out, but in truth, you were being guided forward. My precious child, if you only knew the weight of what I shielded you from, you would understand why some things could not remain in your life. You prayed for blessings, but some of the things you wanted were disguised burdens. You prayed for peace, but some of the situations you longed for would have stolen the quiet strength I was building within you. You prayed for stability, but some relationships would have anchored you to places far beneath your calling. You asked me why I closed the door, but you did not always ask me what I was building behind the scenes. I was constructing something bigger, something stronger, something more fitting for the destiny I created you to walk in. I was shaping opportunities that align with your purpose, not just your preferences. I was preparing relationships that would support your growth, not stunt it. I was opening pathways that matched your identity, not your insecurity. There were times you felt frustrated, wondering why everything seemed to crumble at once. You thought circumstances were falling apart, but in truth, they were falling into alignment. I was removing the pieces that no longer belonged in the picture of your future. I was clearing the ground so that what I planted next could take root without being choked by what was never meant to stay. Think of a home being rebuilt. Before new walls can rise, the old ones must come down. Before a sturdy foundation can be laid, the broken pieces must be cleared away. The demolition is loud. It is messy. It feels destructive. But it is the necessary beginning of something greater. That is what was happening in your life. You saw doors closing, but I saw foundations being strengthened. You saw people leaving, but I saw spiritual room being made for those who would value your heart. You saw plans collapsing, but I saw you being aligned with assignments far more meaningful than the ones you were grieving. And hear me, beloved child, no door that I closed was meant to diminish you. Every closure was an act of love. Every ending was a redirection towards something that would match the fullness of who you are becoming. There are doors ahead of you now, doors not built yet in the seasons you prayed for them. Doors crafted with precision. Doors aligned with your growth, your healing, your maturity, your calling. Doors that will open with ease because they were always yours. Doors that will not require you to diminish yourself to fit inside. Doors that will not drain you, confuse you, or weaken you. Doors that will lead you into rooms you once believed were beyond your reach. If you feel the sting of the doors that close behind you, lift your eyes to the ones forming before you. I am not finished. What is coming will make sense of what felt senseless. What is opening will bring healing to what felt like loss. You will see, in time, that the doors I closed were never taking something from you. They were making room for what was waiting to enter. My beloved child, as you continue in this sacred unfolding with me, I want to touch the deepest part of your story, the place where your tears have fallen, the place where your heart has ached quietly, the place where you have carried pain that no one else fully understood. For every tear you shed, every moment when your chest tightened with unspoken grief, every silent cry you thought vanished into the air, none of it hath been forgotten. Not a single tear slipped past my notice. There were nights when you wept until your body trembled, trying to hold yourself together when everything inside you felt like it was breaking apart. You wiped your face and told yourself to be strong, to move forward, to pretend everything was fine. But I saw you. I was there beside you in the shadows, watching over you with compassion deeper than you have ever imagined. Those tears were not signs of weakness. They were evidence of your courage to feel, to care, to hope, even when life pressed heavily upon you. There were days when you smiled while your heart was hurting, when you carried burdens quietly because you feared that speaking them aloud would make them heavier. You tried to be strong for everyone around you. You tried to keep moving, even as your spirit whispered that it needed rest. And though others may not have seen your weariness, I did. I noticed the sighs you breathed when no one was listening. I noticed the heaviness in your steps when you pushed through exhaustion. I noticed the longing in your eyes when you wished someone would simply understand. My precious one, the world has not always made room for your pain, but I always have. I collected each tear as the precious evidence of a heart that feels deeply, loves deeply, and hopes deeply. Not one of those tears was wasted. Not one of them fell unnoticed. Every tear carrying meaning, and every moment of sorrow is woven into the healing I am guiding you toward. You may think your tears weaken you, but in truth they soften the ground of your spirit so that new growth could take root. Tears have a way of cleansing what the heart can no longer hold. They release the pain you are not meant to carry forever. They open space for renewal, clarity, and peace. And while you may have felt alone in those moments, I held you closer than ever, When you broke down, I supported you. When you felt abandoned, I surrounded you. When you questioned your worth, I whispered truth into your weary soul. There were wounds you carried that you hid from others because you feared they would misunderstand. Words that scarred you. Losses that hollowed you out. Rejections that cut deeper than you allowed yourself to admit. Promises that crumbled before they could be fulfilled. You tucked these pains inside, hoping time would heal them, but time alone could not reach the depths of those wounds. But I can, and I have been. Every time your heart chattered, I gathered the pieces. Every time you wished for someone to hold you, I wrapped you in unseen comfort. Every time you needed strength you could not find within yourself, I became your strength. You survived moments you were certain would destroy you, not because you were unbreakable, but because I refused to let you fall apart beyond repair. And I want you to know this with unwavering certainty. Your tears have been turning into seeds. Seeds of resilience. Seeds of compassion. Seeds of wisdom. Seeds of deeper spiritual awareness. Seeds of a strength you did not possess before. What once broke you is now shaping you. What once wounded you is becoming the very place where my light will shine brightest. There will come a day, beloved, when you will look back on the seasons of your tears and recognize the quiet miracles that were being formed in the darkness. You will see how your pain made room for purpose, how your sorrow expanded your capacity to love, how your heartbreak removed what could no longer stay, making space for what is meant to come. You will see that nothing you endured was meaningless. And though you carried the weight alone in the eyes of the world, you never carried it alone in mine. Your tears spoke when your voice could not. They prayed for you when you had no words left. They watered the ground where new beginnings are now preparing to emerge. So do not be ashamed of the tears you have cried. They are the testimony of a heart that refused to close, even when it was hurting. They are the evidence of your courage to keep going when stopping felt easier. And now, beloved child, I am leading you into a season where your tears will be replaced with joy, where your cries will be replaced with clarity, where your heaviness will be replaced with peace. The same tears that once marked your suffering will soon mark your healing. My beloved child, as this journey continues, I want to draw back the veil on something you have never fully seen, something I have done for you quietly, faithfully, relentlessly. You have lived many moments believing you were fighting alone. You faced challenges that felt too heavy, conflicts that drained you, and struggles that left you breathless. You thought the weight rested entirely on your shoulders. But precious one, you did not see the battles I was fighting on your behalf, battles in realms beyond your sight, battles against forces that sought to break you before you reached this moment. You have no idea how many times danger approached your life, only to be halted because my hand stood as a shield around you. You do not know the attacks that never reached you because I intercepted them before they could form. You do not know the number of times darkness tried to overwhelm your spirit. But my light surrounded you like armor. My protection has been your constant shadow, even when you were unaware of it. There were days when you felt a heaviness for no clear reason, a sudden discouragement, an unexplainable fear. You thought it was just your emotions. But beloved, some of that weight was spiritual resistance pushing against your destiny, and I was fighting for you long before you realized a battle existed. I stepped in where you could not see. I reinforced you when your strength dimmed. I placed barriers around you when unseen enemies sought to approach. You have survived things you never knew you were in danger of. You have conquered threats you never saw. You have walked away from situations unaware of the traps that had been set before your feet. And you did not escape because of chance. You escaped because I fought for you. There were relationships I removed from your life not because you were unworthy, but because their intentions toward you were hidden even from themselves. I saw the harm before you felt it. I saw the words that would have wounded you before they were spoken. I saw the betrayal before it reached your heart. And in love, I shifted the direction of your steps so you would not walk into destruction. There were opportunities that fell apart suddenly because they carried burdens you were never meant to bear. Some paths that excited you were paths that would have drained you. Some doors that looked promising were doors that led to disappointment. When those things collapsed, you questioned why life seemed to take from you. But I was removing what would have weakened you. I was fighting for your future, not just your present. And my precious child, there were moments when darkness attempted to whisper lies into your mind. Lies about your worth, your future, your identity. Lies that tried to convince you that you were alone, that you were unloved, that you were without purpose. But I pushed back those lies every time. I stood guard over your mind. I wrapped truth around your thoughts even when you did not recognize it as me. Every time you survived the night where hopelessness tried to take root, it was because I fought for your spirit. There were times you felt a sudden surge of peace for no reason at all. That was me calming the storm that formed around you. There were moments when help arrived at the exact time you needed it. That was me sending reinforcement. There were circumstances that should have broken you, yet somehow you rose again. That was me infusing strength into your weary soul. You may think you have come this far because of your resilience, your endurance, your determination. And yes, you have been strong, but you have not been strong alone. Behind every victory was my hand. Behind every escape was my intervention. Behind every recovery was my healing. You survived because I fought on your behalf. My beloved, I want you to understand this deeply. I have never left you unprotected. The battles you saw were only a fraction of the ones I shielded you from. If you could see the fullness of what I have defended you against, you would fall to your knees in gratitude, not out of fear, but out of awe how deeply, fiercely, and constantly you are loved. You have been carried. You have been defended. You have been surrounded by a protection greater than any harm that ever attempted to reach you. And I will continue fighting for you. I will continue guarding the path ahead of you. I will continue blocking what is not meant for you and clearing the way for what is. The battles you never knew about were victories I won for you long before you asked for help. And as this revelation continues to unfold, you will begin to see just how carefully your life has been safeguarded. Stay close, beloved child. There is more I am preparing to show you, and the next truth will open your eyes even wider to the destiny that has been forming around you all along. My beloved child, as you listen now, I want you to feel the shift that is happening around you. Not a shift imagined, not a shift hoped for, but a real and sacred turning that has already begun. You may not see it clearly yet, but you are standing at the edge of a divine turning point, a moment where the direction of your life begins to change in ways you could not orchestrate on your own. Everything you have walked through, everything you have endured, everything you have questioned has brought you to this threshold. And now, something long-awaited is stirring. For so long, you felt as though you were stuck between what was and what could be. You stood in a place of tension, hoping for change but unsure whether change would ever come. You lived in the in-between, trying to hold on to faith while wrestling with doubt. You wondered if your breakthroughs were passing you by, if opportunities were slipping through your fingers, if you were somehow missing the life meant for you. But hear me with clarity now. Nothing has been missed. Nothing has passed you by. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on the edge of what I have prepared for you. and the shift you have been waiting for is beginning to unfold. There is a moment in every story where the tide turns, where the darkness begins to lift, where the impossible begins to break open into possibility. You have reached that moment. You are not hearing this by accident. You are not here by coincidence. This is a divine alignment, the exact moment I have chosen to reveal to you what your spirit has been sensing. You have felt something changing, even if you could not name it. You have felt the tug, the stirring, the gentle pressure urging you forward. You have felt the quiet whispers of hope rising again after seasons where hope barely survived. You have felt moments of sudden clarity, bursts of unexpected strength, glimpses of peace that did not match your circumstances. These were the signs of the turning point approaching, the signs that what has been heavy will not always be heavy. What hath been difficult will not always remain difficult. My precious child, you are stepping into a new chapter, one that will not mirror the pain of the past but will reveal the purpose behind it. The season where you felt overlooked is ending. The season where you felt stuck is breaking apart. The season where you question your direction is being replaced with clarity. You are moving out of survival and into renewal, out of confusion and into understanding, out of delay and into alignment. But you must stay with me now, for what comes next is the very revelation that ties all of this together. You cannot stop here. Do not turn away. Do not disconnect. You are too close to the understanding your heart has been searching for. You are too close to the transformation your spirit has long awaited. If you walk away now, you will miss the unfolding of the blessing I have prepared specifically for you. So lean in. Stay attentive. Continue with me to the end of this message, because what I am about to reveal will bring everything into focus. It will explain why you had to wait, why the doors closed, why the battles were intense, and why your spirit has felt the pull towards something greater. This is not the time to drift. This is the time to hold on tightly. And if these words are already stirring something inside you, if they are awakening hope or clarity, or even a gentle peace, then bless this message with a like so it can reach others who are standing at their own turning points. Share it with someone whose spirit is weary, someone who needs to remember that their story is not over. And if you desire more messages spoken from my heart to yours, subscribe so you never miss the moments I prepare to speak into your life again. My beloved, you are on the brink of a shift so profound that you will look back on this season and say, that was the moment everything began to change. And I am walking with you through every step of it. You are not crossing this threshold alone. You are carried. You are guided. You are prepared. Now, take a breath and move forward with me. The revelation that follows will open your eyes to what hath been waiting for you all along. My beloved child, as we move deeper into this sacred unfolding, I want you to understand why this moment, this exact moment in your life, is the one I chose to reveal what I have been holding for you. You have asked me before, sometimes with tears, sometimes in silence, why now? Why not earlier? Why did I have to walk through so much before hearing what you are telling me today? I speak to you now with tenderness and truth. This moment is not random. It is not late. It is not delayed. It is precisely timed, perfectly aligned with the maturity of your spirit, the strength of your heart, and the readiness of your life. Everything before this moment was preparing you to receive what you could not have carried earlier. You see, there were times when you wanted answers but your mind was clouded with fear. Times when you wanted direction but your heart was tangled in pain. Times when you wanted clarity but your spirit was overwhelmed by the noise of the world. If I had spoken this message in those seasons, you might have overlooked it, doubted it, rejected it, or misunderstood it. Not because you lacked worth, but because the wounds were still too fresh, the questions too loud, the insecurities too strong. But now something has shifted in you. You have walked through valleys that have reshaped your perspective. You have endured trials that have softened your heart in some places and strengthened it in others. You have questioned yourself, questioned your path, questioned your place, and yet here you are listening, open, ready in ways you were not before. It took time for you to reach this openness. Time for your walls to come down. Time for your heart to heal enough to trust again. Time for your spirit to grow sensitive enough to hear me clearly. Time for your identity to rise beyond the limits others placed on you. Time for your faith to stretch and deepen in ways you could never have imagined. This moment is the intersection of everything you endured and everything you're becoming. You are no longer the version of yourself who doubted every good thing. You are no longer the person who believed the pain was permanent. You are no longer someone who mistakes silence for abandonment. You have grown, beloved. And this message requires someone who has grown. You may think of yourself as ordinary, but the strength forged inside you is extraordinary. The understanding you've gained through hardship, the compassion you've learned through disappointment, the resilience shaped through adversity. These are the qualities that make you ready right now. Not ready in perfection, but ready in awareness. Ready in honesty. Ready in humility. Ready in willingness. You are ready to hear me differently. To receive me differently. To believe me differently. Another reason I chose this moment is because the timing of your life has aligned in ways you cannot yet see. There are connections forming, opportunities shifting, relationships evolving, doors preparing to open, and paths being cleared. These alignments are delicate, intricate, purposeful. If this message came too early, it would not meet the environment required to carry it. If it came too late, you might have settled into things that were never meant for you. But right now, the pieces are moving in perfect coordination. What is ahead of you is not random. It is orchestrated. What is coming is not small. It is significant. And what I am revealing today is the foundation upon which the next chapter of your life will rest. There is also this truth, beloved. You are stronger than you were before. There was a time when hearing about purpose would have felt overwhelming. A time when being told you were chosen would have felt unbelievable. A time when the idea of breakthrough would have stirred more doubt than hope. But now you can receive it. Now you can believe it. Now you can step into it without shrinking, running, or questioning your worth. I waited for the moment when the soil of your heart was ready. Not perfect, simply ready. Ready to trust me again. Ready to dream again. Ready to rise again. Ready to walk differently. And whether you realize it or not, you have stepped into that readiness. This moment is divine. It is intentional. It is orchestrated with precision. And it is the moment where past pain meets future promise, where old wounds meet new beginnings, where confusion meets clarity, and where your spirit finally aligns with the truth of who you are and who I have always known you to be. So remain with me, beloved child. What you have heard so far is only the beginning. The revelations that follow will weave together everything you have endured with everything I am preparing to release into your life. You are in the exact moment I waited for, the moment where you are able to receive what your heart has long awaited. My beloved child, as you continue forward with me, I want to speak to a part of your life that has kept you smaller than you were ever meant to be, the shadow of your old identity. You have carried names, labels, and perceptions that were never yours to keep. You have held on to versions of yourself that were shaped by experiences, wounds, disappointments, and the opinions of others. These shadows have followed you, whispering lies about your worth, your capability, your potential, and your purpose. But hear me now with clarity and tenderness. You were never meant to live hidden beneath an identity that was built by pain instead of truth. You were never meant to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that could not hold the fullness of who you are. You were never meant to walk through life defined by what hurt you, what broke you, what left you, or what misunderstood you. That is not who you are, and it never was. There were moments when you looked at yourself through the lens of your failures, forgetting that failure is an event, not an identity. There were seasons when you felt unworthy because others could not see your value, forgetting that their vision was limited, not your worth. There were times when the words spoken over you shaped how you saw yourself, even when those words were rooted in their own brokenness, not your truth. You learned to play small because somewhere along the way you believed smallness kept you safe. You believed that if you spoke softly, moved carefully, and hid your brilliance, you would be less likely to be judged, rejected, or hurt. But my child, shrinking yourself has only dimmed the light I placed inside you. Hiding has only silenced the voice I intended to be heard. Holding back has only delayed the impact your life was designed to make. Today I call you out of those shadows, not forcefully but lovingly, not with pressure but with truth. You are not the person shaped by wounds, you are the person shaped through them. You are not the mistakes you made, you are the lessons you learned. You are not the opinions people projected onto you, you are the reflection of the purpose I placed within you. You are not the insecurity that once held your mind, you are the strength that rose beyond it. My beloved child, I want you to see yourself as I have always seen you, radiant, capable, chosen, purposeful, intentional. There is greatness in you that pain tried to bury. There is brilliance in you that fear tried to silence. There is strength in you that doubt tried to weaken. And yet, despite every storm, you are still here, listening, growing, reaching, healing. That alone reveals who you truly are. You are not fragile. You are not lost. You are not broken beyond repair. You are becoming. The shadows of your old identity may have felt familiar, but familiarity is not the same as truth. Comfort is not the same as calling. You have outgrown the fears that once defined your choices. You have outgrown the limitations that once shaped your expectations. You have outgrown the mindset that once convinced you that your dreams were too big or your voice too small. There is a new identity rising within you, one rooted not in what happened to you, but in who I created you to be. It is the identity of someone who knows their worth, someone who recognizes their strength, someone who understands that their past is not their prison but their platform. Someone who no longer bows to the opinions of others because they stand firmly in truth and clarity. I know stepping out of the shadows feels uncomfortable. Change always does. Growth always does. Becoming always does. But the discomfort is not danger, it is transformation. You are shedding what no longer fits so you can rise into what has always been waiting for you. Think of a butterfly breaking free from its cocoon. The struggle is necessary. The pressure is part of the process. The pushing is what strengthened its wings. The cocoon is not failure, it is formation. And now, beloved, you stand in that very moment of emergence. The identity that once confined you can no longer contain you. You are stepping into a fullness that your past self could not yet comprehend. So walk with me out of the shadows. Leave behind the names that were never yours. Release the insecurities that once felt like truth. Let go of the identities that were built in survival, because you are stepping into a life built in purpose. You are not returning to who you were. You are rising into who you have always been. Stay with me, precious one. What I am about to reveal next will take you even deeper into the truth of your purpose, your calling, and the destiny that is unfolding before you. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me through this sacred unfolding, I now turn your heart towards something essential, releasing what has tried to break you. For too long, you have carried wounds that were never meant to remain inside you. You have held on to memories that once pierced you, disappointments that hollowed you, and betrayals that left cracks in your spirit. These things were heavy, and though you have learned to move forward, you may not realize how deeply they have shaped the way you see yourself and the world. Hear me gently. It is time to release what tried to break you. There were moments in your past that struck you so deeply, you learned to expect pain even when life offered you peace. There were people whose words cut into your heart until you began to question your worth. There were relationships that ended so abruptly or painfully that you carried an invisible fear of being abandoned again. There were failures that shook your confidence until you wondered if you were capable of anything meaningful at all. But beloved, those experiences did not define you. They wounded you, yes. They hurt you, yes. But they did not tell the truth of who you are. They tried to break you, but they did not succeed. And now, I am asking you to loosen your grip on them so they no longer hold power over your future. I know releasing pain is not easy. You have lived with some of these wounds for so long that they became familiar. You learned to function with them. You built walls around them. You told yourself that healing meant forgetting, and forgetting felt impossible. But healing is not forgetting. Healing is remembering without reliving. Healing is looking at what hurt you and seeing how far you have come since then. Healing is choosing to release what once weighed you down so you can walk freely into what is ahead. My child, I saw every wound. I witnessed every moment someone mishandled your heart. I saw every time you stayed silent because the pain felt too heavy to speak about. I saw the moments when you forced a smile even though you were breaking inside. And I saw the nights when you whispered that you did not know how much more you could endure. You endured more than you knew. You survived what was meant to shatter you. You continued to rise even when everything inside you felt like sinking. That resilience is not accidental. That is the strength I placed within you. And now, I am calling you to let go of the remnants of those battles, not because they did not matter, but because they no longer need to accompany you into the next chapter of your life. There are burdens you have carried that were never meant to stay on your shoulders. There are memories that have replayed in your mind long after their purpose ended. There are fears that were formed in seasons of pain but have no place in the season you are entering now. Releasing these things does not minimize what you went through. It honors the strength you gained from surviving them. Think of how your heart felt after someone disappointed you deeply. The heaviness, the confusion, the feeling of being unworthy or unimportant. You carried that hurt into relationships, decisions, and self-perception. But beloved, that hurt was never meant to define the way you love or the way you see yourself. Release it. Think of the mistakes you made, the ones that haunt you, the ones you replay with regret. You thought those moments disqualified you, but in truth, they taught you. They shaped your wisdom. They refined your understanding. They were stepping stones, not failures. Release the shame. Think of the dreams that collapsed, the opportunities that slipped away. You blamed yourself for things that were never within your control. You held on to disappointment as if it were evidence of your inadequacy. But it was not. It was redirection. Release the disappointment. My precious one, letting go does not happen all at once. It happens moment by moment, breath by breath, decision by decision. Every time you choose to forgive, you release. Every time you choose to shift your perspective, you release. Every time you stop replaying the past and choose to look forward, you release. And I am here to help you. I am not asking you to walk through this alone. My hand is extended. My presence surrounds you. My healing moves gently, not forcefully. I do not tear your wounds open. I breathe life into them until they no longer ache. What has tried to break you no longer has permission to shape your future. What once held you back is losing its grip. What once stole your joy is being replaced with peace. As you release, you are not losing. You are gaining space. Space for clarity. Space for peace. A space for joy. Space for the new beginning that has been waiting for you. My beloved child, as you continue walking with me through this sacred unfolding, I want you to become aware of something powerful happening inside you. Something you may have sensed but not fully understood. A new strength is rising within you. Not the kind of strength you once tried to force through sheer will or exhaustion. Not the type born out of survival or fear. This is a deeper strength, a truer strength, a strength born from everything you have walked through and everything I have been building within you. There was a time when you believed strength meant holding everything together alone. You thought being strong meant silence. You thought it meant pretending you were unbothered, unaffected, unmoved. You pushed through pain, hid your struggles, smiled through heaviness, and convinced yourself that vulnerability was weakness. But beloved, that was not strength. That was survival. Necessary for a season, yes, but not the fullness of who you are. The strength rising within you now is different. It is strength born from healing, not hiding. Strength born from understanding, not fear. Strength born from release, not resistance. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is not afraid to feel, not afraid to grow, not afraid to admit your needs or embrace your worth. This strength does not require pretending. It grows from truth, and truth is something your heart is finally ready to carry. Think for a moment about who you used to be. The moments when anxiety controlled your decisions, when fear silenced your voice, when insecurity shaped your choices. Think of how often you said yes when you wanted to say no. How often you stayed where you didn't belong. How often you gave more than your heart could sustain. And now look at yourself today, not with harshness but with compassion. You have grown. You have changed. You are awakening. You may not fully see it yet, but I do. I see the courage forming in places where fear once lived. I see resilience rising from wounds that used to drain you. I see wisdom shaped from experiences that once confused you. I see boundaries forming where you used to shrink. I see confidence stirring in a heart that once questioned its value. This is not accidental. This is transformation. And I need you to hear this. Every time you chose to get up when life knocked you down, strength grew. Every time you forgave when bitterness tried to take root, strength grew. Every time you chose to heal instead of hide, strength grew. Every time you confronted truth, even when it was painful, strength grew. Every time you chose to believe in the possibility of something better, strength grew. Your strength is not loud, but it is steady. It is not boastful, but it is unshakable. It is not overwhelming, but it is deeply anchored. This new strength is the evidence of what I have been shaping inside you through every season, especially the painful ones. You learn things you never wanted to learn, but now those very lessons are equipping you for a future where you will not bend so easily, where you will not break under pressure, where you will not lose yourself to please others. You are becoming rooted. Beloved, strength is not the absence of vulnerability. Strength is the willingness to stand in your truth. You'll protect your peace, to honor your heart, to walk away from what wounds you, to recognize your value, to trust that you are worthy of good things, to believe that you have purpose, to understand that your life is not defined by who hurt you, but by who you are becoming. His strength rising within you does not need to be forced. It flows naturally now because you have finally stopped carrying what once drained you. You released burdens that weighed you down. You let go of identities that were never yours. You stepped out of the shadows of pain, and now your spirit has room to expand. And as this strength rises, so will your clarity. You will begin to see yourself differently. See your relationships differently. See your purpose differently. You will find yourself making choices with confidence rather than fear. You will find yourself speaking with clarity rather than hesitation. You will find yourself walking with assurance rather than doubt. What once overwhelmed you will no longer have power over you. What once intimidated you will lose its hold. What once strained you will no longer define your emotional landscape. Because you are not the same person who walked through the storms. You are the person who came out of them wiser, stronger, and more grounded. My beloved child, do not be surprised if others notice this strength before you do. They will see the shift in your spirit, the steadiness in your voice, the calm in your presence. They will see the transformation unfolding within you, and they will marvel, not because you suddenly became someone new, but because you finally stepped into who you always were. The strength rising within you is only the beginning. What I reveal next will show you the moment everything began to shift in ways you never realized. My beloved child, as you continue this sacred journey with me, I want to draw your heart toward a truth you may not fully realize yet. There was a moment in your life, a quiet, unseen, decisive moment, when the enemy lost his grip on you. You may not have noticed when it happened. You may not have felt the shift as it occurred. But there was a turning, a breaking, a severing of the chains that once held you down. And from that moment forward, your life was never the same. There was a time when the enemy whispered lies into your mind, and you believed them because pain made them feel true. Lies about your worth. Lies about your identity. Lies about your future. Lies that told you that you were alone, forgotten, or beyond repair. Those lies shaped your thoughts, your decisions, your self-perception. But beloved, the day came when those lies no longer found a home inside you. A quiet awakening rose in your spirit, and truth began to take its rightful place. That moment was victory. There was a time when fear controlled you, fear of failing, fear of rejection, fear of stepping forward into unfamiliar places. Fear made you hesitate. Fear made you shrink. Fear convinced you that safety meant staying small. But then came a moment, one subtle yet powerful, when fear no longer dictated your steps. You began to move forward despite trembling hands or hesitant breath. You chose courage even when fear whispered that you couldn't. And each courageous step weakened the grip that fear once had. That moment was freedom. There was a time when the enemy used your past against you. He tried to keep you tied to old wounds, old mistakes, old memories that no longer represented who you are. He tried to hold your mind captive by replaying the moments that hurt you the most. But then came a day when you looked at your past and felt something different. Not shame, not regret, not defeat, but understanding, wisdom, clarity. You realized your past was no longer a prison. It had become a testimony. That moment was breakthrough. My precious child, the enemy loses his grip not when you feel powerful, but when you begin to see truth. When you recognize your worth. When you choose healing. When you refuse to go backward. When you stand up again after you fall, not because you feel strong, but because somewhere deep within, hope rises again. Do you know when everything changed for you? It was not in the loud victories or the obvious breakthroughs. It was in the quiet moments when you decided not to give up. The nights when you chose to breathe through the pain. The moments when you reached out for help instead of hiding. The days you showed up even though you felt empty. The times you whispered that you still believed something better was possible. Those choices, those small, trembling steps shook the foundations of everything that once tried to break you. You became stronger without realizing it. You became wiser without seeing the transformation. You became more resilient because each battle taught you something about who you truly are. The enemy saw it long before you did. You recognized the shift happening in your spirit. You recognized that the lies no longer held the same power. You recognized that the wounds he once used against you were closing. You recognized that the despair he once fed was being replaced by hope. That was the moment he lost his grip. And I want you to understand something deeply. What once held you cannot hold you anymore. What once controlled you cannot control you now. What once defeated you cannot defeat you again. You have risen beyond the reach of what once tormented your spirit. You have stepped out of patterns that once kept you trapped. You have walked into a strength that the enemy cannot penetrate. Do not underestimate the significance of what has happened in your life. You are not the same person. You do not think the same. You do not respond the same. You do not break the same. You have grown. You have healed. You have awakened. And because of that awakening, darkness cannot claim you. Fear cannot own you. Lies cannot shape you. You belong to light, and light has taken root inside you in ways that cannot be undone. My beloved, the grip of the enemy was broken the moment you realized that you were never fighting alone. When you began to understand that my hand was on your life, that I was guiding your steps, that my presence surrounded you even in your lowest moments, that I had plans for you far beyond what the enemy tried to destroy. And now, you walk in freedom, even if you are only beginning to recognize it. You walk in strength, even if you feel it rising slowly. You walk in truth, even if you are still learning to trust it. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me through this unfolding, I want to show you a truth that has been forming in the deepest parts of your being. You are becoming someone new, not because you have changed into someone different, but because you are finally growing into who you were always meant to be. You are stepping into the version of yourself that I saw long before the world tried to name you, limit you, or break you. You are becoming who I always knew you were. There is a version of you that has existed in my sight since the beginning of your creation. A version filled with strength, clarity, gentleness, wisdom, courage, and purpose. A version untouched by the opinions of others, unharmed by the disappointments of life, free from the wounds that once shaped your decisions. When I look at you, I do not see the broken pieces you sometimes focus on. I see the process of the becoming, the unfolding of someone extraordinary. And now, you are beginning to see glimpses of that version in yourself. Maybe you notice it in the way you think differently, how your thoughts are slowly shifting from fear to hope, from doubt to possibility. Maybe you see it in the way you respond to challenges now, with more calm, more clarity, more understanding. Maybe you feel it in the way your spirit no longer collapses under the weight of things that once overwhelmed you. That is growth. That is transformation. That is the new you rising. You may not always recognize your own progress, but I see it in every choice you make. When you choose peace over chaos, you become who I saw. When you set boundaries that honor your worth, you become who I saw. When you walk away from what drains your spirit, you become who I saw. When you speak truth instead of diminishing your voice, you become who I saw. When you dare to hope again after disappointment, you become who I saw. Beloved, you have spent much of your life viewing yourself through lenses distorted by pain, comparison, or insecurity. You believe you were not enough. You believe you were too broken. You believed others were more deserving. But none of these beliefs reflected the truth. They only revealed the wounds you had not yet healed. Now, as healing touches your heart, the truth is emerging. You are beginning to see yourself through my eyes, slowly, gently, beautifully. And this transformation is not happening because you are striving. It is happening because you are aligning. You are aligning with the truth of your identity, aligning with the purpose placed within you, aligning with the power you carry, aligning with the love I have always poured over your life. Everything you have walked through, every heartbreak, every failure, every unanswered question, has shaped you into someone deeper, wiser, and more compassionate. You have grown through what tried to break you. You have learned from what tried to silence you. You have softened in the places where pain once hardened you. You have opened your heart in ways you never thought possible. This is who you are becoming, the version of yourself that was always waiting beneath the surface. There is a strength in you now that was not there before. Not a loud strength, but a settled one. A strength that no longer needs to prove itself. A strength that knows its worth. There is a wisdom in you that cannot be taught by books or speeches, only lived experience. There is a resilience in you shaped by nights you thought you would not survive. There is a compassion in you carved from seasons of your own suffering. This is the beauty of who you are becoming. Do not underestimate this transformation. It is not small. It is not accidental. It is not temporary. It is the unfolding of everything I planted in you long ago. You are rising into the fullness of who you truly are. You are stepping into your identity, your calling, your purpose with more clarity than ever before. And even if you still have days where you feel uncertain or fragile, do not mistake that for going backward. Becoming is not a straight line. Becoming is a journey of uncovering, discovering, and embracing. Every step counts. Every moment matters. Every inner shift is part of your awakening. My beloved, you are becoming the person I always saw. The person I designed intentionally, beautifully, purposefully. The person who carries light in their presence and power in their spirit. The person who rises not because life is easy, but because their soul is aligned with truth. Stay with me. The next revelation will take you deeper into the unfolding of what is coming, because you are not only becoming someone new, you are preparing to receive something new. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me through this unfolding, I want you to prepare your heart for something extraordinary. What I am about to do in your life will not simply encourage you. It will astonish you. It will leave you in awe of how carefully, how tenderly, and how intentionally I have been orchestrating every detail of your journey. You have felt shifts. You have sensed stirrings. You have noticed quiet changes within yourself. But what is coming is beyond anything you have yet imagined. There is a divine momentum building around you, even now. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but in the realm of the unseen, things are aligning with precision. Doors that have been closed for years are beginning to respond. Pathways that once felt blocked are starting to clear. Opportunities that once felt distant are quietly positioning themselves closer than ever before. You are not entering an ordinary season. You are stepping into a divine unfolding designed specifically for you. For so long, you questioned whether good things were still possible for your life. You wondered if your breakthrough was real or just a hopeful thought. You asked me if your time would come or if you were destined to live in cycles of disappointment. But hear me clearly now. Your season of breaking open is approaching, and it carries a beauty that your past could not contain. Beloved, what I am preparing to release into your life is not a small blessing. It is not a minor shift. It is not a temporary moment of relief. It is a transformation that will rewrite the direction of your days. It will bring clarity where there was confusion, restoration where there was loss, strength where there was weakness, and joy where there was mourning. What I am unfolding will not simply touch one part of your life. It will ripple through every area, bringing alignment, purpose, and renewal. You will look back on this time and say, "This is when everything changed." You will look at what unfolds and say, "Only God could have done this." You will feel the weight of years lifting off of you, as if they were never meant to stay. And though you may feel nervous, uncertain, or even unworthy of such blessing, understand this. I am not choosing you because you earned it. I am choosing you because I love you, because I planned this for you long before your struggles began, because the seeds you sowed in tears are ready to rise in harvest. My beloved child, stay with me. You need to hear this entire message. If you step away now, you will miss the clarity, the confirmation, and the peace that your heart hath been longing for. This is a divine appointment, not a moment to casually brush past. You are closer than you think, so close that even the air around your spirit feels different. Do not walk away before you receive what I have been preparing to place into your hands. And if these words are already stirring your spirit, if something inside you is awakening with hope or recognition, bless this message with a like so it may reach others who need the same divine reassurance. Share it with someone whose heart is tired, someone who is on the verge of giving up, someone who needs to know that their breakthrough is not a distant dream but a coming reality. And if you desire more messages like this, words straight from my heart to yours, subscribe so you never miss the moments I come to speak into your life again. Now listen, precious one. I'm not only preparing blessings for you, I'm preparing you for the blessings. You are being aligned internally so that when opportunities arrive, you will not shrink, you will not sabotage, and you will not doubt yourself. You will be ready to step into what once intimidated you, ready to receive what once felt too big for you, ready to walk with confidence into a future designed not to overwhelm you, but to elevate you. There were blessings I could not give you before, not because you were unworthy, but because the weight of them would have crushed you. But now you are stronger. Now you are wiser. Now you are more grounded. Now you are aligned with truth instead of fear. And because of that, the blessings that were stored are finally beginning to move toward you. What I am about to do in your life will leave you speechless, not because it is unexpected, but because it will be far greater than you imagined. You prayed for small things, but I am preparing something abundant. You asked for survival, but I am preparing overflow. You hoped for healing, but I am preparing restoration that touches every part of you. My beloved child, as you walk with me deeper into this unfolding revelation, I want to open your eyes to something you have not fully understood. There are blessings that have been stored up for you, waiting for this exact moment of your life. These blessings were never denied to you. They were never withheld as punishment. They were never out of reach. They were being preserved, protected, and prepared for the time when you would be ready to receive them without fear, without doubt, and without losing yourself in the process. There are blessings tied to your name that have been written into your destiny since the beginning. Some of these blessings you prayed for. Some you hoped for quietly. Some you never dared to imagine because life taught you to lower your expectations. And some blessings were shaped from the very pain you thought would destroy you. You may not realize this, but I have been storing goodness on your behalf. Not because you are perfect, but because I have always known the greatness you were created for. These blessings were not meant to arrive early, because early arrival would have overwhelmed you or slipped through your fingers. They needed to come at a time when your heart had matured, when your spirit was strong, and when your vision was clear enough to see their purpose. Beloved, understand this. Some blessings require preparation. Some miracles need a foundation. Some breakthroughs demand inner transformation before they can manifest outwardly. You were not waiting for the blessing. The blessing was waiting for you. Think of how much has changed you within you. You see yourself differently now. You value your peace more. You understand your worth in deeper ways. You recognize red flags more quickly. You use your voice with clarity. You love from a place of strength rather than desperation. This growth has positioned you to carry blessings you once would have mishandled or questioned. There were opportunities I kept hidden until you healed enough to recognize your value. There were relationships I withheld until you learned the difference between what drains your spirit and what nurtures it. There were doors I kept closed because the rooms behind them required a confidence you did not yet possess. But now the growth within you has created space for what has been waiting for you all along. My child, you have blessings assigned to this very season, blessings that would not have fit into any earlier chapter of your life. Some of these blessings look like restoration. Some look like clarity. Some look like unexpected favor. Some look like new opportunities. Some look like peace that flows effortlessly into the places where turmoil once lived. And some blessings will look like answers to prayers you forgot you prayed. The blessing of new strength. The blessing of renewed joy. The blessing of deeper purpose. The blessing of healthier connections. The blessing of guidance with precision. The blessing of divine alignment in every step you take. All of these and more are drawing near. You may feel as though not much is changing around you yet, but do not be deceived by what you see. Blessings often form in silence before they appear in sight. Seeds grow underground long before they break through the soil. You are in that sacred in-between, the place where heaven is arranging what your heart will soon receive. I want you to know this as well. Some blessings arrive disguised as shifts. You may feel the urge to move, to release, to begin, to end, to step into something unfamiliar. Trust these nudges. They are part of the alignment drawing you toward what hath been stored for you. And beloved, hear this with a peaceful heart. No one can take what has been reserved for you. No mistake, no delay, no distraction, no opposition can steal what I have set aside with your name upon it. What is yours is protected. What is meant for you will find you. What I have prepared for you will unfold with a timing that reflects my wisdom, not your worry. You may have thought you were forgotten in seasons where others seemed to receive blessings before you. You looked at your life and wondered why nothing seemed to move. But now you understand that blessings are not given according to comparison. They are released according to readiness. And you, my precious one, are ready now in ways you were not before. You are ready to receive without doubting. You are ready to embrace without shrinking. You are ready to walk forward without fear. You are ready to carry what once felt too heavy. Do not turn away from this moment. Do not minimize what I am saying to you. The blessings coming are not accidental. They are intentional, purposeful, and tailored to the person you have become. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me, I want you to understand the magnitude of where you now stand. Your spirit has entered a new chapter of promise. Not a metaphorical shift, not an emotional high, not a temporary moment of hope, but a true spiritual transition into a season where what I have spoken over your life begins to manifest in ways you cannot deny. This transition did not happen in a single moment. It has been forming quietly, layer by layer, inside your heart. You may not have seen it happening, but I have been guiding you into this new chapter through experiences that reshaped you, lessons that matured you, and shifts that aligned you with what is coming. You have been stepping out of old patterns, old wounds, old fears, and old limitations. Even when you didn't know it, your spirit was moving forward, preparing itself for greater things. Now, beloved, you are standing in a threshold moment. The chapter behind you is closing, not in anger, not in loss, but in completion. You have learned what you needed to learn there. You have healed wounds that once defined your decisions. You have outgrown environments, mindsets, and relationships that were only meant to be part of earlier seasons. You have risen into clarity where confusion once lived. And now, the energy of your life is shifting, subtly, steadily, divinely. This new chapter is marked by promise. Not vague hope, but real promise. Promise that is rooted in what I have been preparing, building, and aligning. Promise that reflects the growth of your spirit. Promise that matches the strength you now carry. Promise that honors the tears you sowed in silence and the endurance you cultivated when walking through valleys that felt endless. In this new chapter, you will notice that your spirit responds differently. What once triggered fear now sparks reflection. What once overwhelmed you now meets a steadiness within you. What once pulled you backward no longer holds the same power. This is not a coincidence. It is evidence that your spirit is not where it was. You are living from a different place internally. In this new chapter, old desires fall away easily because they were never part of your true purpose. Old dreams that belonged to outdated versions of yourself no longer call to you. Old wounds feel less sharp because healing has softened their edges. Even memories that once felt heavy begin to lose their ability to define your present. This is spiritual maturity rising inside you, quietly but profoundly. My precious one, your spirit is aligning with a future filled with promise, and because of that alignment, things that were once delayed will begin to move. Opportunities that once felt distant will draw near. People who match your growth will be drawn into your life. Clarity about your purpose will rise like morning light. You will feel yourself breathing differently, thinking differently, choosing differently. This alignment is not an accident. It is the result of everything you have overcome, everything you have released, everything you have confronted within yourself. You have opened the door to this new chapter by choosing healing, by allowing growth, by letting go of identities that no longer matched your spirit. You may have moments where you still feel unsure, moments where old fears try to whisper, moments where you wonder if the shift is real. But hear me gently, these moments do not reflect regression. They reflect the remnants of old patterns that are finally fading. What matters is not the passing thoughts, it is the direction of your spirit. And your spirit is moving forward. In this chapter of promise, your life will not look the same because you are not the same. You will find yourself drawn toward things that align with your truth. You will pursue what nurtures your soul rather than what drains it. You will recognize opportunities that resonate with your purpose rather than settling for what simply fills space. You will see the beauty in your journey rather than focusing on the pain it once held. Beloved, I need you to know something vital. Nothing in this chapter is random. Every connection, every shift, every open door, every closed door is part of a divine orchestration. You are being positioned, not simply placed. You are being aligned, not thrown into change. Everything has meaning. Everything has timing. Everything has purpose. This chapter will be marked by increasing peace. You will feel it in moments when you least expect it. It will settle into your heart like a gentle stillness. It will wash over you during times when chaos once reigned. Peace will become your confirmation, your guide, your compass. Follow it, beloved. It will lead you exactly where you need to go. You are not stepping into this chapter alone. I am walking with you. I am going before you. I am preparing the way. And everything I have stored for this time, every blessing, every opportunity, every breakthrough, is now beginning to unfold. Stay with me. The next revelation will show you how everything around you is starting to align with the promise rising within you. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me, I want to open your eyes to something unfolding all around you. Something subtle yet powerful. Something quiet yet unstoppable. There is a divine alignment taking place in your life. You may not fully see it yet, but the pieces are shifting, the pathways are adjusting, and the atmosphere around you is preparing for something that has long been destined to arrive. Alignment does not always look dramatic. It often begins in silence. It begins with a change of thought, a release of an old belief, a newfound sense of peace, a gentle nudge in a new direction. It begins when you stop forcing what doesn't feel right, when you stop chasing what drains you, when you stop settling for what does not reflect your worth. These small inner shifts create ripples in your outer world, and suddenly life begins reorganizing itself around the person you are becoming. You may have noticed recently that certain things no longer feel the same. People you once felt connected to seem distant now. Situations that once held your attention feel empty. Goals you once pursued no longer carry meaning. These changes are not signs of loss. They are signs of alignment. Your spirit is rising, and anything that does not rise with you naturally begins to fall away. Beloved, this is not rejection. This is refinement. There are relationships that served their purpose in a previous chapter but cannot accompany you into the next. There are habits that once comforted you but now limit you. There are opportunities that once seemed attractive but now feel too small for who you are becoming. Everything that is shifting because your spirit is entering a new frequency, and your life is adjusting to match it. Divine alignment means this: what is meant for you is being drawn toward you, and what is not meant for you is being gently released. It is not chaos, it is orchestration. You are not losing, you are making room. You are not being abandoned, you are being positioned. You are not being left behind, you are being prepared. Look closely at the patterns around you. Look at the coincidences that do not feel like coincidences. Look at the sudden clarity in areas where you once felt confused. Look at the way certain opportunities are appearing at just the right time, or how certain situations close only to guide you toward something better. These are not random events. They are signs of alignment. Think of how rivers flow. They carve their paths by following a natural pull, a gravitational guidance. They do not rush. They do not force. They flow where they are meant to go. Your life, beloved, is beginning to flow the same way. You are being guided without realizing it. You are stepping into things with ease that once required great struggle. You are finding that certain choices feel natural, even obvious, because you are aligned. Divine alignment is not merely external. It begins inside you. You are thinking differently. You are noticing what truly matters. You are trusting your intuition more. You are recognizing the voice of peace. You are honoring your boundaries. You are becoming more discerning with your time, your energy, your emotions. These are the signs that your inner world is preparing for the blessings forming in your outer world. My precious child, alignment also means that I am arranging things on your behalf. Conversations you have not heard, decisions you are not aware of, opportunities you have not yet seen. People who will play important roles in your future are being prepared. Circumstances that once were obstacles are being cleared. Doors that seemed impossible are being crafted with your name upon them. I'm aligning every detail, every connection, every timing. You may feel a sense of anticipation rising in your spirit for no clear reason. You may wake with a sense that something is shifting, even before anything changes visibly. This anticipation is spiritual. It is your spirit sensing what is approaching. When alignment is happening, your inner world feels the movement before your outer world reveals it. Even your prayers are aligning differently now. They carry more clarity, more faith, more depth. You are no longer praying merely from desperation, but from expectation. This shift is powerful. It reflects a heart that is stepping into agreement with what I am bringing into your life. And understand this. Divine alignment does not require you to figure everything out. It requires you to stay open, stay willing, stay aware. I am guiding your steps, ranging your path, and preparing surprises that will confirm how intentional this moment of your life truly is. Beloved, trust what is falling away, and trust what is approaching. Trust the pull you feel towards certain opportunities. Trust the quiet urge to release certain burden. Trust the increasing peace that settles into your spirit. These are the markers of alignment. You are not drifting. You are being led. You are not lost. You are being placed. You are not in transition by accident. You are being prepared for divine fulfillment. My beloved child, as you continue listening with an open heart, I want to prepare you for something remarkable that is beginning to unfold in your life. You are walking into rooms you once prayed for, rooms that once felt distant, impossible, unreachable. Rooms you dreamed of but doubted you would ever enter. Rooms that, at one time, you convinced yourself were meant only for others, not for you. But now, the very spaces that once lived only in your imagination are becoming part of your reality. This is not happening by accident. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. This is promise meeting timing. This is a divine orchestration that has been in motion long before you realized you were being prepared for anything greater. You see, there were seasons when you felt like an outsider, watching opportunities slip through your fingers. You saw others advance while you remained in the same place. You watched people step into roles, relationships, and blessings that you longed for but could not access. You prayed for doors to open, yet for a long time, every door you touched remained closed. But beloved, those closed doors did not mean rejection. They meant preparation. You were not being denied. You were being refined. You were being shaped into the version of yourself who could not only enter those rooms, but thrive in them. Now, something within you has changed. You carry a deeper wisdom, a greater strength, a stronger sense of identity. You no longer see yourself as the overlooked one or the forgotten one. You no longer diminish your gifts or silence your voice to make others comfortable. You no longer settle for less because you fear you do not deserve more. This new confidence, this grounded knowing, makes room for you in places you once feared stepping into. Beloved, I am opening spaces before you that honor your growth. You are entering circles where your presence is valued, not tolerated. You are walking into opportunities that recognize your potential rather than exploit your kindness. You are stepping into environments where the version of you that once felt out of place now fits with ease. This is because you have risen. You have evolved. You have aligned with your purpose. There will be moments ahead when you walk into a situation and feel a sense of familiarity, not because you have been there before, but because your spirit prayed for it long ago. You will feel a quiet recognition, a whisper inside you saying, "This is the moment I've been waiting for." You will experience connections that click effortlessly, opportunities that flow with grace, progress that seems to unfold naturally rather than through strain. This is what it feels like to walk into the rooms formed from your prayers. Every step you take now is guided. Every opportunity is intentional. Every encounter is meaningful. You are not wandering. You are being placed. Placed in conversations that shift your direction. Placed in environments that elevate your thinking. Placed among people who see the greatness within you. Placed in situations that call out the strengths you didn't realize had matured. My precious child, you spent years believing you were behind. But now you are discovering that delay was not distance. It was development. Nothing was lost. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was overlooked. Everything you walked through has prepared you for these rooms. Rooms of favor, rooms of purpose, rooms of healing, rooms of influence, rooms of abundance. Some of these rooms will challenge you in beautiful ways. They will stretch your courage. They will expand your imagination. They will awaken parts of your identity that had been dormant for too long. You will feel yourself rising to meet the moment, not because you are pretending to be strong, but because you finally understand that you belong. And hear me clearly, you do belong. Not because of what you have achieved, not because of who you know, not because of how perfectly you have lived. You belong because I have aligned your path with divine intention. You belong because I have shaped you for these spaces. You belong because everything in your story has led you here. There will also be moments where you walk into a room and feel quiet gratitude wash over you, not because of the opportunity itself, but because you remember the version of you who prayed for this moment. You will remember the tears, the doubt, the longing. You will remember wondering if I ever heard your prayers. And then you will realize, I heard them all, and I answered them, here, now, in ways more beautiful than you imagined. Beloved, walk confidently. Walk with your head lifted. Walk with the awareness that you have every right to be in the places I am leading you. You are not stepping in as a guest. You are entering as someone who was meant to be there. My beloved child, as you walk with me deeper into this unfolding, I now turn your heart towards something sacred, restoration. Not the kind that simply patches cracks or softens old wounds, but the restoration you thought would never come. The restoration you quietly longed for, even after convincing yourself it was too late, too damaged, too far gone. The restoration you tucked deep within your heart because believing in it felt too risky, too painful, too uncertain. But hear me now with the fullness of my love. The restoration you thought would never arrive is already drawing near. There were things taken from you that were never meant to be stolen. There were seasons that broke you in ways you had no words for. There were relationships that fractured your trust and left you feeling unworthy. There were moments when you looked at the pieces of your life and wondered how anything good could ever come from them again. You whispered, not with your lips but with your soul, "Is restoration still possible for me?" Yes, my child. Not only is it possible, it is promised. You have believed for so long that certain losses were final. You accepted the idea that some dreams were permanently out of reach. You assumed that some wounds would remain tender forever. But restoration operates outside the rules of what you understand. Restoration is not limited by time, by damage, or by what others have done. Restoration is the art of making whole what once seemed irreparably broken. And I am the God who restores fully, beautifully, intentionally. You may think restoration means returning things to the way they once were. But beloved, I do not bring you backward. I lift you forward. I do not return you to who you were before the pain. I guide you into a stronger, wiser, deeper version of yourself, one who now carries wisdom and compassion that earlier seasons could not have produced. The restoration coming to your life will not simply replace what you lost. It will transform what you lost into something better than what you expected. There were moments when you begged for healing, moments when your heart was shattered and you felt abandoned by hope, moments when the weight of disappointment pressed so heavily upon you that you doubted whether joy was still possible. But even then, I was gathering the fragments of your life. Even then, I was preparing beauty out of the ashes. Even then, I was holding the pieces until your heart was strong enough to receive what I was crafting. Restoration is not rushed. It is not careless. It is intentional, gentle, tailored to the wounds it heals. You may begin to notice it in subtle ways first. A peace where there used to be fear. A clarity where confusion used to live. A softening of your heart toward things that once felt unbearable to think about. A lightness in your spirit where heaviness lingered for years. These are the early signs, the first rays of dawn breaking through after a long night. Restoration may also come through new relationships, new opportunities, new beginnings that feel strangely familiar, as though they were always meant for you. You may find yourself receiving love in places you once expected rejection. You may feel hope in situations that once brought sorrow. You may see new life blooming in areas you once assumed were barren. Nothing is beyond my ability to restore. The lost time, the broken trust, the missed opportunities, the painful endings, the dreams that died. I restore them not by rewinding your story, but by redeeming it. Beloved, you will look back one day and see how everything that was shattered became the foundation for something more beautiful. You will see how the wounds that once made you collapse became the places my grace filled most deeply. You will see how the heartbreak that nearly destroyed you brought you into a season of new joy that you would not trade for anything. Restoration is not just about healing. It is about reclaiming your spirit, reclaiming your joy, reclaiming your identity, reclaiming the belief that your life is still filled with promise, purpose, and beauty. You thought restoration was far away, but it has been quietly approaching, step by step, waiting for the moment your heart would be strong enough to receive it without fear of losing it again. My precious child, the restoration coming will surprise you. It will comfort you. It will heal you in ways you didn't know you needed. It will remind you that nothing is ever truly lost when placed in my hands. My beloved child, as you continue this journey with me, I want you to understand the power of the season you are stepping into. You have crossed a threshold in your spirit, and now the momentum of heaven is moving on your behalf in ways that cannot be hindered, delayed, or undone. Nothing can stop what I am releasing over your life now. Not your past, not your fears, not the doubts that once clouded your mind, not the circumstances that seemed impossible, and not the forces that once rose against you. The flow of what I am bringing is unstoppable. For a long time, you felt like everything meaningful in your life came with resistance. Every breakthrough seemed fragile. Every blessing appeared temporary. Every moment of progress felt threatened by setbacks. You began to wonder if something was wrong with you, if you were cursed, if your life was destined to struggle indefinitely. You looked at others and wondered why their paths seemed smooth while yours was filled with obstacles. But beloved, the obstacles you faced were not signs of disfavor. They were signs of calling. The resistance you felt was not a wall. It was a sign of the power your life carries. The enemy pushes hardest against those who are stepping into something purposeful, something impactful, something transformative. But now, The season of constant resistance is giving way to a season of unstoppable release. There comes a moment in every story where struggle shifts into momentum, where battles turn into breakthroughs, where the ground that once resisted suddenly responds. That is the moment you have entered. What I am releasing now does not depend on your perfection or your strength. It depends on my promise, my timing, my word over your life. And my word does not fail. Nothing can stop the healing I am releasing into your heart. You have carried wounds for far too long. Wounds from disappointment, from abandonment, from betrayal, from silence, from unanswered questions. But now healing is rising from within you like a river. You may feel it as peace in areas where you once felt turmoil. You may feel it as acceptance where you once felt shame. You may feel it as release where you once clung to pain. This healing cannot be hindered. It is coming because I am sending it. Nothing can stop the clarity I am bringing to your mind. You live in confusion for years, trying to understand direction, purpose, meaning. You wrestled with decisions, hesitated at crossroads, doubted your own intuition. But now I am sharpening your vision. I am aligning your thoughts with truth. I am illuminating paths that once felt hidden. You will begin to know things in your spirit before they unfold in your life. You will feel guided, steady, centered. This clarity cannot be taken from you. Nothing can stop the elevation I am positioning you for. You have been faithful with little, and now I am entrusting you with more. Not as a burden, but as a recognition of who you are becoming. There are opportunities forming that you did not chase. There are connections preparing that you did not orchestrate. There are doors opening that your name alone could not unlock, but my favor has. What is meant for you will arrive with ease, not because life is without challenge, but because the season has shifted in your favor. Nothing can stop the restoration I am placing over your life. What was broken is being restored. What was lost is being returned. What was empty is being filled. And what seemed impossible is quietly transforming into reality. You may not see the full picture yet, but the restoration has already begun. You are standing in the early moments of a renewal that will touch every area of your life. Relationships, identity, purpose, confidence, peace, provision. This restoration cannot be reversed. Nothing can stop the strength rising within you. You once doubted whether you would ever feel secure, confident, or grounded again. But look at yourself now. You have survived storms that tried to break you. You have risen from moments that once consumed you. You have learned to breathe through pain and walk through uncertainty with a heart that refuses to give up. This strength is not temporary. It is permanent. It cannot be shaken because it was shaped by truth rather than fear. And beloved child, nothing can stop the future I have prepared for you. It is unfolding even now. It is being arranged with intention. It is taking shape in ways you will soon marvel at. What I release cannot be hindered by others' opinions. It cannot be blocked by circumstances. It cannot be slowed by delays. What I send to you arrives fully, purely, powerfully. You are entering a season where what once broke you will no longer touch you, where what once intimidated you will no longer influence you, where what once resisted you will now make room for you. Stay with me, precious one. The next revelation will prepare your heart to endure and advance, because you are closer than ever to the fullness of what I have planned for you. My beloved child, as we continue this sacred walk together, I want you to hear this truth with the fullness of your spirit. You are closer than you think. Closer to breakthrough. Closer to clarity. Closer to healing. Closer to the answers your heart has carried for so long. The distance you fear is not real. The delay you feel is not denial. You are standing on the very edge of what you have been waiting for, even if your eyes cannot yet see the unfolding. There are seasons in life that feel like endless waiting. Seasons where nothing moves, nothing shifts, nothing changes, and you wonder if you will be suspended in uncertainty forever. You pray, yet the silence continues. You hope, yet the path remains unclear. You feel weary from trying, from believing, from holding on, and you wonder if you have reached your limit. But beloved, what you cannot see is how close the finish line truly is. Breakthrough often comes in the moments when you feel most tired. Transformation often unfolds right when you feel like giving up. Light often breaks through the darkest part of the night. And this is why you feel the weight so strongly now, because you are not far from the release that has been forming behind the scenes. I need you to hold on a little longer. Not forever. Not endlessly. Yes, long enough for what is coming to meet you. You are closer than you think to the moment where everything will begin to make sense. The pieces that once felt scattered will suddenly align. The heaviness that once felt unbearable will lift. The questions that have lingered in your heart will be answered, not with confusion, but with clarity and peace. My child, do you not sense the shift around you? The subtle stirring in your spirit, the quiet rise of hope that you can't explain. Even the restlessness you sometimes feel is not a sign of failure. It is the stirring that comes just before change. You feel stretched because you are outgrowing an old version of your life. You feel unsettled because your spirit knows something new is approaching. You feel pulled because destiny is drawing you forward. When you are this close to breakthrough, the enemy often tries to whisper the loudest lies. He tries to convince you that nothing is changing, that your prayers are unheard, that your efforts are wasted. He tries to magnify your exhaustion, your doubt, and your past disappointments. Not because any of these things are true, but because he knows you are near a moment he cannot stop. When you are close to stepping into what I have prepared, resistance tries one final time to sway your spirit. But beloved, the resistance you feel is proof of your closeness, not your distance. You have endured storms that should have broken you. You have walked through valleys that should have emptied you. You have survived nights that should have consumed you. And yet here you are, still standing, still listening, still seeking, still believing. Do you understand how profound that is? Do you see the strength that has carried you to this point? Do you realize how far you have come, even when progress felt invisible? You are not weak. You are not stuck. You are not lost. You are advancing, slowly perhaps, quietly perhaps, but undeniably. You are walking toward a moment divinely orchestrated with your name upon it. My precious one, I need you to stay with me. Do not turn back. Do not give in to the voice that tells you your journey ends here. It does not. You are too close, too aligned, too prepared, too strengthened to quit now. And if these words are touching something deep within your spirit, if you feel the truth of this moment rising inside you, then bless this message with a like so that others who are on the edge of their own breakthrough may find it too. Share this message with hearts that need hope. And if you desire more moments like this, more words that lift and guide and reassure, subscribe so you may continue to walk with me through every season of your life. Beloved child, hold on a little longer. Your story is turning. The momentum is shifting. The doors are opening. The answers are forming. The healing is unfolding. What I have prepared is closer than the breath you take. Do not let weariness convince you to stop now. You are approaching the moment where everything begins to change. My beloved child, as you continue listening with your heart open, I now bring you into a truth that is already moving through your life like a quiet current. The breakthrough you have been waiting for is not something distant, not something delayed, not something uncertain. It is already unfolding. It has already begun. It is already weaving itself into your days, even in moments where everything appears still on the surface. Breakthrough does not always announce itself with noise or dramatic signs. Sometimes it begins in silence, in ways only your spirit can perceive. A shift in your thoughts, a release of an old fear, a sudden moment of clarity, a new sense of peace that comes upon you without explanation. These are not coincidences, beloved. These are the early movements of breakthrough taking root. You may think nothing is happening because circumstances have not yet visibly changed, but breakthrough begins long before results appear. Just as seeds break open underground before anything rises above the soil, your life is experiencing a shift that will soon become visible. What has felt delayed is now accelerating. What has felt blocked is beginning to open. What has felt impossible is aligning itself with possibility. You prayed for clarity, and now your spirit is beginning to discern things you once overlooked. You prayed for healing, and now your heart is releasing pain it clung to for years. You prayed for direction, and now peace is pulling you toward the right path. You prayed for restoration, and now doors that once seemed permanently shut are unlocking from the inside. Beloved, breakthrough is not always a sudden moment. It is a process, a progression, a divine unfolding, and you are already inside it. There are things moving in your favor right now that you are unaware of. Conversations happening that you have not heard. Decisions being made that involve you but have not reached your ears. Opportunities forming in places you have not yet seen. People who will play a role in your life are already being positioned. Circumstances are quietly rearranging themselves so that when the moment arrives, it will seem as though everything happened at once. But in truth, the momentum has been building for a long time. I know there were seasons when you questioned me, not because of lack of faith, but because of the depth of your pain. You wondered if I had forgotten you. You wondered if your breakthrough was meant for others and not for you. You wondered if your prayers were too small, too broken, or too delayed to be answered. But I was never absent. I was building the foundation you would one day stand on. I was strengthening the parts of you that needed to grow before you could carry the breakthrough you asked for. I was healing wounds you didn't know were influencing your choices. I was removing people and situations that would have sabotaged what was coming. Every season of waiting was part of preparing you for the blessing. Your breakthrough is unfolding because you are ready for it now in ways you were not before. You are seeing with clearer eyes. You are listening with a deeper spirit. You are choosing differently. You are valuing yourself differently. You are walking with more courage than fear. This inner shift has unlocked the external one. You may still feel uncertain at times. You may still feel the weight of what you've endured. You may still have moments where doubt tries to tell you that nothing has changed. But doubt is only noise. It cannot stop what has already begun. The truth is moving beneath every question, shaping your reality, preparing your next step. My beloved child, breakthrough rarely feels like breakthrough in the beginning. It feels like subtle hope. It feels like unexpected strength. It feels like peace returning after a long storm. It feels like your heart breathing again. These small signs are not to be dismissed. They are spiritual confirmations that something sacred is nearing completion. Soon you will see what I see. Soon you will understand what I have been weaving together. Soon you will look back on this very moment and say, that was when everything quietly began to turn. Your life is not standing still. It is moving in divine rhythm. So walk gently. Walk with expectation. Walk with courage. Walk knowing that what you prayed for is not ahead of you. It is around you, above you, beneath you, and unfolding through you. Every step you take now is guided by a breakthrough already in motion. My beloved child, as you continue to walk with me through this unfolding revelation, I want to lift your eyes toward what lies ahead, a future not marked by fear or uncertainty, but by peace, provision, and purpose. You have spent so much of your life preparing for storms, bracing for disappointment, waiting for something to go wrong. But the season you are entering is nothing like the ones you have survived. You are stepping into a future that carries my fingerprints, my guidance, and my promise. For too long, you have been waiting for peace, true peace, not the temporary kind that fades the moment circumstances shift, but the peace that settles deep into your spirit, steady and unshaken. This peace is not something you must earn. It is something I am placing over your life like a blanket, something that will quiet the noise within you, something that will become your foundation. You will wake in the morning with a calm you have never felt before. You will navigate your days with a clarity that feels like light guiding your every step. You will rest at night knowing that your future is not fragile but firmly held in my hands. This peace will not come because everything in your life is perfect. It will come because you are aligning yourself with me. It will come because your spirit has grown. It will come because you are no longer controlled by fear or the opinions of others. It will come when you realize that peace does not depend on what surrounds you. It grows from within you. I am cultivating that kind of peace in your soul even now. And with peace, beloved, comes provision. There were times when you feared lack of resources, lack of opportunities, lack of support, lack of direction. You worried about whether you would have enough, whether things would work out, whether you would be able to sustain yourself or your dreams. But I want you to know this. In the chapter ahead, you will not live from a place of scarcity. You will live from a place of abundance, not reckless abundance, but divine provision, where what you need meets you at the exact moment you need it. Provision is not only about finances. It is about people, strength, doors opening, wisdom arriving, clarity given, relationships restored, opportunities appearing at divine timing. Provision means I will not allow anything essential to your purpose to be withheld from you. What you need will find you. What is meant for you will locate you. What belongs to your destiny will not be lost. You will notice that in this next season, life will begin to flow more easily. What once required great effort will begin to unfold with grace. What once drained you will no longer have access to you. What once felt impossible will now feel natural, because I am providing not only resources, but the internal capacity to receive and manage what I give. And beloved, as peace and provision rise in your life, purpose will begin to shine with clarity. There were times when you felt lost, times when you questioned why you were here, times when you doubted whether your life had meaning beyond surviving. But you were never without purpose. You only needed healing to see it, growth to embrace it, and clarity to walk in it. Your purpose is not something distant or complicated. Your purpose is woven into who you are. It is in the way you think, the way you love, the way you give, the way you persevere, the way you rise after falling. Your purpose is not hidden. It is emerging. In this future I am leading you into, you will begin to recognize the things that make your spirit come alive. You will be drawn toward what aligns with your calling and repelled by what drains your soul. You will find yourself stepping naturally into spaces where you can shine, contribute, and impact others, not by force, but by design. Purpose will no longer feel like a question. It will feel like a direction. And hear me, beloved child, This future is not fragile. It is not uncertain. It is not something that can be taken from you. What I am building in your life is steady, secure, and protected. Peace will anchor you. Provision will sustain you. Purpose will guide you. You do not need to fear what is ahead. I have gone before you. I have arranged the steps. I have made the crooked places straight. I have prepared blessings, connections, opportunities, and open doors that match the fullness of who you are becoming. You will not enter this future as the wounded version of yourself. You will enter it healed, strengthened, and awakened. You will walk confidently because you finally understand who walks with you. My beloved child, as we continue walking through this sacred unfolding, I want to speak to something stirring deep within you, something you have felt quietly, something you have questioned, something you have tried to ignore but cannot dismiss. A confirmation has been rising in your spirit. Not a loud announcement, not an emotional surge, but a gentle, steady knowing that something in your life has shifted. And I want you to hear me clearly. This confirmation is not your imagination. It is me. There have been moments recently when you felt an unexpected sense of peace wash over you. Moments when your heart felt lighter for no obvious reason. Moments when you sensed that something was aligning, even though nothing looked different on the outside. You wondered if you were simply hoping too much, dreaming too boldly, or reading too deeply into your feelings. But beloved, those moments were not random. They were whispers from me, signs that your spirit is tuning itself to the frequency of the future I have prepared for you. You have prayed for guidance. You have asked for clarity. You have begged for signs. And now, instead of sending loud confirmations in your environment, I am sending quiet confirmations in your heart. Why? Because I am teaching you to trust the voice within you, the voice that has been strengthened through your healing, your growth, and your alignment with truth. The confirmation you feel is the evidence of alignment. It is your spirit recognizing what I am doing before your eyes can see it. You may have noticed a sudden confidence rising in places where you once doubted yourself. A new boldness in making decisions that once terrified you. A newfound ability to release things that no longer serve you. A gentle pull toward the future instead of a lingering attachment to the past. A readiness you cannot fully explain but undeniably feel. Beloved, these are signs of transformation. These are signs of breakthrough. These are signs that your spirit has stepped into a new chapter long before your circumstances have caught up. And because your spirit has moved forward, the rest of your life is beginning to follow. You are not imagining this shift. You are not exaggerating it. You are not creating false hope. You are experiencing the beginning of fulfillment. There were seasons when your heart felt numb, when your spirit felt tired, when you questioned if you were even capable of hearing me. But look at you now, paying attention to the small signs, noticing the subtle movements, tuning your heart to the whispers of truth. This awareness is not born from confusion. It is born from awakening. And I want you to know something deeply. I confirm things in your spirit long before I reveal them in your reality. This is how faith grows, how trust deepens, how peace roots itself inside you. I show you in the unseen so that when the seen manifests, you already know it is from me. Think of a seed buried in the ground. Before you ever see the sprout, the seed breaks open. Life begins in the darkness. Growth begins in silence. Movement begins beneath the surface. Your spirit has already sprouted, beloved. That is the confirmation rising within you. You are sensing what is coming. You are anticipating what is approaching. You are recognizing what belongs to you. Do not dismiss this inner knowing. It is sacred. It is divine. It is my reassurance that you are on the right path. You may still feel occasional doubt. That is natural. You may still have moments of uncertainty. That is human. But do not let those moments overshadow the deeper truth. The confirmation you feel is real. It is my voice, my peace, my guidance resonating within you. Your heart is no longer confused. It is awakening to clarity. Your spirit is no longer wandering. It is stepping into alignment. Your soul is no longer afraid. It is learning to trust again. Beloved, the confirmation rising inside you is a sign that you are ready. Ready for new beginnings. Ready for blessings. Ready for purpose. Ready for the chapter that has been patiently waiting for your arrival. And understand this, once your spirit receives confirmation, nothing can stop what is coming. Not delays, not doubts, not distractions, not opposition. What I release in the spirit always manifests in time. To lean into this knowing. Embrace this quiet certainty. Allow it to steady you, anchor you, and guide your steps. You are not imagining the shift. You are witnessing the spiritual announcement of what is unfolding. My beloved child, as you continue on this sacred journey with me, I want you to understand the magnitude of what has happened within you. You will never return to who you used to be. Not because you have lost anything of value, but because you have grown beyond the limits of your former self. You have outgrown old fears, old doubts, old wounds, and old identities. You have stepped into a truth so deep that the version of you who lived in survival can no longer exist in the space where you now stand. There was a time when you carried pain like armor. A time when you allowed the opinions of others to shape your worth. A time when you hid your heart behind walls because life taught you to be cautious. A time when you second-guessed every decision, wondering if you were capable, wondering if you belonged, wondering if you mattered. That version of you was doing the best they could with the wounds they carried. That version of you survived battles you never thought you'd face. That version of you kept walking when your spirit felt heavy. Honor that version of yourself. But know this, you are not them anymore. Something has shifted inside you. Something irreversible. Something holy. Something that came through the battles you endured, the healing you chose, the truths you embraced, and the breakthroughs that have been unfolding within you. The pain that once defined you has been released. The fear that once controlled you has been dismantled. The doubt that once whispered lies has lost its influence. And now, your spirit stands taller. Your heart beats differently. Your mind thinks more clearly. Your soul recognizes its worth. Beloved, you will notice this change in the way you respond to things that once overwhelmed you. Situations that would have shaken you in the past no longer have the same effect. Conversations that once triggered fear now stir wisdom. Relationships that once drained you no longer appeal to your healed spirit. You move differently because you are different. You may even find that old environments feel unfamiliar now. Spaces that once felt comfortable now feel too small. Patterns you once tolerated now feel unbearable. This is not discomfort. It is growth. You cannot shrink yourself back into spaces your spirit has outgrown. You may feel distance forming between you and certain people, not out of conflict, but because your paths are no longer aligned. This is not loss. It is divine redirection. Your life is shifting to match the truth of who you have become. And hear me, beloved child, the transformation that has taken place within you is permanent. You cannot undo the healing you have received. You cannot unlearn the lessons you now carry. You cannot go back to the numbing, the shrieking, the doubting, the silencing of yourself. You have awakened, and awakening cannot be reversed. There will be moments when your old self tries to call you back. Moments when fear whispers familiar lies, hoping you will respond the way you once did. Moments when exhaustion tempts you to slip into old patterns. But even in those moments, you will feel it. You will feel the truth rising within you, reminding you that you are no longer who you were. Your spirit knows too much now. Your heart has healed too deeply. Your vision has sharpened too clearly. Your confidence has grown too steadily. You cannot return to old cycles because they no longer resonate with who you are becoming. Even your prayers are different. They no longer come from a place of desperation, but from a place of trust. Your voice carries authority. Your desires carry clarity. Your hope is no longer fragile. It is rooted. Beloved, you are rising into the fullness of who I created you to be. And this unfolding is not temporary. It is the new foundation of your life. You have stepped into a new identity, one that embodies strength, wisdom, courage, and grace. One that reflects the purpose I placed within you long before pain ever touched your life. Do not mourn who you used to be. Celebrate who you are becoming. You are stepping into a season where you no longer apologize for your growth. You no longer dismiss your intuition. You no longer ignore your calling. You no longer carry the weight of proving your worth. You walk with a quiet confidence, not because life is perfect, but because you finally know who walks with you and who you are in me. My precious child, the transformation within you is a sign that you are ready for the future unfolding before you. You cannot return to the old because there is nothing for you there. Your path is forward. Your purpose is awakening. Your destiny is calling. My beloved child, as you continue this journey with me, I want to open your heart to a truth that will bring you deep comfort and quiet awe. Everything in your life is becoming a masterpiece. Not just the triumphs, not just the joyful moments, not just the accomplishments that made you proud. Even the parts you wished had never happened, the pain, the setbacks, the disappointments, the heartbreaks, are being woven into something beautiful beyond your understanding. You may look at your life and see fragments. You may see seasons that felt wasted. You may remember moments that left scars. You may think of decisions that led you down difficult paths. You may recall conversations that wounded your spirit. To you, these pieces may seem broken, scattered, or meaningless. But beloved, in my hands, nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Nothing is without purpose. I am the one who takes every thread, light and dark, joy and sorrow, gain and loss, and weaves them into a tapestry more intricate and beautiful than anything you could imagine. A masterpiece does not appear overnight. It is crafted. It is shaped. It is layered. It is built through time, patience, and intention. And that is exactly what I have been doing in your life. Every moment of darkness you survived added depth. Every moment of healing added softness. Every moment of growth added strength. Every moment of clarity added light. Every moment of surrender added beauty. You are not a fragmented story, you are a masterpiece in progress. Think back to the seasons when you felt abandoned by hope. The nights you cried until your spirit felt empty. The days when everything seemed to fall apart. You thought those moments destroyed you, but they shaped you. They humbled you. They softened your heart. They deepened your compassion. They sharpened your wisdom. They awakened something sacred within you. These were not wasted moments. They were the strokes of a master artist refining your soul. Beloved, the things you thought would break you became the very things that strengthened you. The situations you thought would end you became turning points. The pain you thought would last forever became the soil where purpose began to grow. You have become someone deeper, wiser, and more radiant because of everything you have walked through. You may not have seen it then, but the masterpiece was forming even in the chaos. And now, you are standing in a moment of your life where the pieces are finally beginning to come together. You are seeing connections you once missed. You are recognizing meaning in events that once seemed senseless. You are noticing how the lessons of your past are guiding your present. You are watching how choices made in darkness are bearing fruit in the light. Everything is aligning. Everything is taking shape. Everything is being redeemed. A masterpiece is not meant to be understood while it is being created. If you had seen the brushstrokes of your life in isolation, you would have misunderstood them. You would have thought the journey was messy, chaotic, or purposeless. But now you are beginning to see that the strokes were deliberate. The contrasts were intentional. The layers were necessary. And the final image, the life you are stepping into, is breathtaking. You are becoming someone who carries depth, someone who carries hope, someone who carries wisdom, someone who carries light in places that once felt dark. This is your transformation. This is my artistry. This is your masterpiece unfolding. Your relationships are becoming part of the masterpiece. Connections that uplift, encourage, and align with your purpose. Your opportunities are becoming part of the masterpiece. Doors that open at the perfect time, leading you exactly where you are meant to go. Your healing is becoming part of the masterpiece. Pain turning into power, wounds turning into wisdom, tears turning into testimony. Your purpose is becoming part of the masterpiece. Everything in your story preparing you for impact far greater than you have yet seen. And beloved child, a masterpiece is not fragile. It is intentional. It is protected. It is priceless. So are you. You do not need to fear the future. You do not need to worry about what is coming. You do not need to regret the past. Everything, every moment, every tear, every joy, every battle has been crafted into a perfect design. A design that reveals how deeply I know you, how faithfully I have guided you, and how beautifully I am transforming you. You are stepping into a season where the masterpiece becomes visible, not just to you, but to everyone connected to your life. They will see the strength in your eyes. They will hear the wisdom in your voice. They will feel the peace in your presence. They will witness the purpose shining through you. You are becoming a living testament of what transformation looks like when it is held in divine hands. My beloved child, as we come to this final moment in our journey together, I want you to breathe deeply and feel the truth of everything I have spoken settle gently into your spirit. You have walked through revelation after revelation, layer after layer, receiving healing, clarity, encouragement, and awakening. And now, as this message reaches its completion, I want you to know this with absolute certainty. This is not an ending. This is your new beginning. You are not the same person who began listening. You carry more light, more understanding, more strength, more purpose. You have opened your heart to truths you once resisted. You have allowed me to touch places in your soul you once hid away. You have embraced healing where you once held pain. You have shed identities that never belonged to you. And now, you stand at the threshold of a new chapter, one crafted with intention, with promise, with beauty, and with destiny. Look back for a moment, not with sorrow, but with gratitude. Look at how far you have come. Look at the storms you survived. Look at the nights you endured. Look at the mountains you climbed, even when you had little strength left. Look at the moments you wanted to give up, yet somehow continued. That resilience was not accidental. It was me filling you with strength. It was your spirit refusing to be extinguished. It was the quiet victory of a heart that refused to stop hoping. Now look forward. Look toward a horizon that is brighter, wider, and more alive than anything you have ever known. This horizon is yours. These next steps are yours. This new beginning belongs to you. Everything we have walked through together, the healing, the release, the restoration, the awakening, the alignment, has prepared you for this moment. You are ready. Not perfect, not without questions, not without scars, but truly ready, because every part of your journey has shaped you into someone who carries wisdom, compassion, faith, and courage. And I want you to hear this with tenderness. I am with you in every step ahead. When you walk into new spaces, I walk beside you. When you face new challenges, I strengthen you. When you encounter new blessings, I celebrate with you. When uncertainty tries to unsettle you, I steady your heart. When doubt whispers, I speak louder. You are not stepping into this new beginning alone. You are stepping into it guided by my presence, covered by my protection, uplifted by my love. There will be moments ahead that surprise you with beauty. Moments where you pause and say, I never imagined life could feel like this. Moments where joy rises so naturally that it brings tears to your eyes. Moments where opportunities align so perfectly that you are reminded everything has always been divinely orchestrated. There will also be moments that challenge you, for growth always does. But in those moments, remember what you have learned here. Remember who you have become. Remember who holds you. You will not crumble. You will not return to old patterns. You will not lose yourself. Everything you have gained is now part of the foundation beneath your feet. My beloved child, this new beginning is not fragile. It is blessed. It is protected. It is supported by everything I have spoken over you. And as you walk forward, I want you to carry this final truth close to your heart. You are loved more deeply than you understand. You are guided more carefully than you know. You are stronger than you realize. You are destined for more than you have imagined. When doubt rises, remember my voice. When fear whispers, remember my promises. When uncertainty comes, remember this message. When old wounds try to reopen, remember the healing that has taken place. This is the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with clarity, peace, purpose, and divine fulfillment. Walk boldly, walk gently, walk intentionally, but above all, walk knowing that you are never alone. I am with you in every moment. I am with you in every breath. I am with you in every step of what comes next. You are my beloved child, and I delight in the future unfolding before you. Step into this new beginning with confidence. Step into it with hope. Step into it with the awareness that everything you need has already been placed within you. And now, as this message comes to its close, I speak this blessing over your life. May peace anchor you. May purpose guide you. May joy surround you. May love sustain you. May courage rise in you. May clarity lead you. And may every promise prepared for you come to pass in perfect timing. This is your new beginning. Walk forward, praise One, for all of heaven walks with you. Amen.